'Tis the season, that time of year again, to sit round the fire and laugh at shitty movies in the name of Christmas. This is Venom on the Shelf 2, 12 Days of Venom.
On the 6th day of Venom on the Shelf, Rob gave to me illegal Hermione, Judy Garland. Forced arranged marriage, awful tone deaf singing, transsexuals banging, and a dog butt kissing mayor.
Hello and welcome to Venom on the Shelf, celebrating the 12 days of Christmas. And what kind of Brit would I be if I didn't talk about Harry Potter? And hey, this is an instance where I've actually read the book. Written by acclaimed author J.K. Rowling, who was broke when she wrote the first novel, the film came into fruition in 1997 when the story was passed on to Warner Brothers. Rowling actually sold the rights to the first 4 novels for $1 million, but was able to keep creative control of the feature films. She insisted that the cast be kept British, with some Irish exceptions like Richard Harris. Not that arsehole. And in some later films, they did expand and pick up French and Eastern European actors, depending on the book's descriptions. Because of this, Robin Williams and Rosie O'Donnell both were rejected when they wanted to play the parts of Hagrid and Molly Weasley respectively, despite offering to do the movie completely without pay. Spielberg was actually approached to direct, but he turned it down as he thought it should be animated with Haley Joel Osment voicing Harry, or even combining numerous of the books into one film. Basically, the complete opposite of Peter Jackson. Many other directors were considered, but it was cut down to either Chris Columbus, Terry Gilliam, Alan Parker and Brad Silberling. Rowling wanted Terry Gilliam, but due to his work on Home Alone and Mrs. Doubtfire, Chris Columbus landed the job, though Rowling did get to handpick Alan Rickman as Professor Snape. Filming began on October 2nd, 2000, mainly in Alnwick Castle after Canterbury Cathedral refused due to the story's supposed pagan theme. And if you're American, you're probably wondering why the title of this video is different, and it's because some of the producers thought that Americans would not know what a philosopher is, so they called it overseas Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone instead. Because apparently all Americans are thick as shit.
You knew.
Rowling actually did give permission for the title change, but admitted that she deeply regretted it and wished that she fought harder because it's fucking stupid! But because of the alternate title, every scene where it's mentioned, they had to shoot it twice. One with the actor saying philosophers and one saying sorcerers. Furthermore, Daniel Radcliffe was supposed to have green contacts to make the eyes described in the book, but he had a somewhat allergic reaction to them. They double checked with J.K. Rowling and she agreed that they could go against the book and give him blue eyes instead. No, it doesn't match the source material, so it automatically sucks!
I'm afraid so.
Columbus did his best though to make sure that it was as faithful an adaptation as possible, constantly consulting with Rowling to make sure everything was entirely accurate. Every line of dialogue was ran through her, though she did have to remove one as it contradicted a certain event in Order of the Phoenix which hadn't even been released yet. The book, however, does begin with the point of view of Harry's aunt and uncle a day before he arrives, but the movie scraps it and immediately starts with the magic bastards. Harry and Draco have an encounter before the school, which wasn't in the movie, but J.K. Rowling herself admitted that some cuts in the film actually made sense and they didn't even need to be in the book either. Although a commercial success, becoming the second highest grossing movie in history at the time, only after Titanic, most critics loved it for bringing a magical book to life so perfectly, while others felt like it was bland and lacked character and personality. But no one can deny the impact this franchise has made over the years, and it all started with this. So how does it all hold up? Well, let's find out. This is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone. And I already know what's going to happen. Anytime I point out a plot hole or an issue, everyone's going to be like, no, it's explained in the book. Well, guess what? I'm not reviewing the book. I'm reviewing the movie. This is how reviewing a movie works. The movie should not automatically assume that everyone has read the book, okay? It is the movie's job to fill you in if you have not read the novel, okay? So if the movie doesn't explain it, it is a flaw with the movie, not the book, okay? Everyone who's seen the movie hasn't read the book. That's how it goes. This is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone. So we open with Dumbledore, played by Harris, showing up and turning all of these lights off. It's a good thing nobody is awake right now and seeing this, but it already suffers from Gandalf logic because what do you know, he too refers to people as their full names for no reason.
I should have known that you would be here. Professor McGonagall?
Meriadoc Brandybuck and Peregrine Took.
It's just weird. And why did he even turn the lights off anyway? What, so they can't see this 8-foot fat giant riding through the sky in a loud-ass motorcycle? Because, you know, I'm positive there's still a flaw in your plan.
Do you really think it's safe? Leaving him with these people. I've watched them all day. They're the worst sort of muggles imaginable.
They prefer Lord of the Rings. So they leave baby Harry at his douchebag aunt and uncle's house, and I immediately judged them for this, considering his uncle tried to blow up Paris that one time. But we cut ahead to Harry being 11 years old, played by Daniel Radcliffe, who is literally forced to live under the stairs while his fat, annoying cousin Dudley is... well, fat and annoying. Seriously, the first 10 minutes are just him being a total cock.
Wake up, cousin! We're going to the zoo! Mummy! Dad, come here! You won't believe what this snake is doing! Dad, look! Harry's got a letter! Hey, give it back! It's mine!
Look, I know we're not supposed to like him, but Jesus is he annoying! It's like he's related to Veruca from Willy Wonka. Just shut up and piss off, you little shit! But oh well, it's Dudley's birthday, so they head to the zoo, but Harry begins to notice that something's not quite right.
Can you hear me?
Can you act me? So somehow he's able to communicate with this terrible CGI snake, who blinks for some reason, despite snakes not having eyelids. You know, I find it hilarious that Chris Columbus went through all this trouble to consult, you know, J.K. Rowling for absolutely every detail to make sure it's so accurate, everything's flawless, but he forgot that snakes can't blink. But Harry gets over the fact that he's talking to a reptile pretty damn quickly before the glass vanishes, Dudley falls in, the snake escapes to prepare for his role in Deathly Hallows Part 2, and the fat shit is thankfully trapped behind glass and dies. Alright, wishful thinking.
Sorry about that.
So Harry starts getting strange letters in the post, but his uncle mysteriously shreds every single one, blocks the letterbox, burns them. Owls keep turning up during the day, which should actually be a bit of a heads up for other muggles and they're ruining this whole secrecy thing, but whatever. But look at how demonic and sinister his uncle looks as he burns the letters. He's like a horror movie villain. But it doesn't matter. Soon letters fly through the fireplace, so they decide to run away and hide out in Tim Burton's Rock Island before Hagrid shows up, played by Robbie Coltrane. It turns out it's now Harry's birthday and he tries to tell him about Hogwarts, but this comes as quite a surprise to him.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good one, I'd wager, once you trade up a little.
No, you've made a mistake. I mean, I can't be a wizard.
Or an actor.
Of course, you'll know all about Hogwarts.
Sorry, no.
No?
Also, wouldn't Hogwarts know that he wasn't receiving the letters? Isn't that why they kept sending more and more and more and then 2 million owls?
I swear I don't know!
So it turns out Harry's mum was a witch and her sister resented her and became jealous as she was always favoured, so they knew Harry would turn out the exact same way. Why? Many magic couples had a child that wasn't a wizard or witch. Why would they automatically assume that Harry would... And because of this, they weren't going to ever let him learn magic. This motivation doesn't make any sense, at least in the movie. I mean, you didn't want him becoming like that, so you treated him like shit instead? What, you wanted to piss off a possible wizard? And even then, if you hated wizards so much, surely you just want to kick him out to Hogwarts and get rid of him, never take him back again. But oh well, at least Dudley gets his comeuppance.
Oh, I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell anyone at Hogwarts about that. Strictly speaking, I'm not allowed to do magic.
Okay.
You fucking flew on a motorcycle in the sky earlier! Dumbledore used magic to turn off the lights! McGonagall turned from a cat into a witch! You all use magic outside of Hogwarts! So Hagrid takes him shopping for some school supplies, but it seems that Harry is kind of a popular face.
Just helping young Harry here buy school supplies.
Bless my soul. It's Harry Potter.
Get used to that reaction because you only have to sit through it about 100 more times during this entire franchise.
I'm Harry Potter. Holy cricket! You're Harry Potter! Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter?
And that was just this movie.
Welcome back, Mr. Potter.
What? He was never there to begin with.
Harry Potter.
can't tell you how pleased I am to meet you.
I'm Professor Quirrell. So Harry starts to question how so many people know who he is, but Hagrid refuses to tell him. For no reason. Because the script says so, that's why. Then Hagrid displays more magic outside of school to get to Diagon Alley for everything they need.
But Hagrid, how am I to pay for all this? I haven't any money.
Well, there's your money, Harry. Gringotts, the Wizard Bank. Take no safer place, not one. Except perhaps Hogwarts.
Ha! Both get attacked constantly during this entire series. So they go to Gringotts, the Goblin Bank, to withdraw money that his parents left. But he can't reveal what's in a certain vault because we need a big surprise later. He then heads to a wand shop to find John Hurt. He tries out a few, but it turns out that the wand actually chooses its owner. Now remember this scene because it'll be contradicted so many times in every single movie after this.
No, definitely not.
So a few wands reject him, but the one that killed his parents just so happens to accept him, but the shopkeeper refuses to say his name.
It is curious that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar.
And who owned that wand?
We do not speak his name.
Okay, this build-up and suspense is actually handled really well. It is so good. So Harry continues to question Hagrid about his past.
Not all wizards are good. Some of them go bad. A few years ago, there was one wizard that went as bad as you can go. And his name was...
The Grinch?
Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Also, J.K. Rowling claims that the T in Voldemort is actually silent, but yet she had creative control of this movie. And all of them. So how come she never corrected them? It wasn't until like the movies had basically all been made until she spoke up and said, actually the T is silent. What took you so long?
Think you're being funny, do ya?
So we get a flashback that was actually written by J.K. Rowling herself to Harry's parents trying to fight off Voldemort, but dying in the process. And hey look, Harry's a hell of a lot older than he was at the start of the movie. Imagine that. So basically some claim that Voldemort is now dead, but he's convinced that he's still alive, and this is why Harry is famous, because he survived his attack. But oh well, it's time to head off to Hogwarts.
Platform 9. But Hagrid, there must be a mistake. This is platform 9 3/4. There's no such thing. Is there?
There's no such acting. Is there? Also, a bit of a dick move for Hagrid to just leave him alone like that. Oh, and also Hagrid vanishing. Another case of him using magic outside of school!
Watch it!
So Harry bumps into Ron Weasley, played by Rupert Grint, and his family as they, in broad daylight in one of the busiest train stations in London, vanish into platform 9 3/4. Sure.
Now all you've got to do is walk straight at the wall between platforms 9 and 10. Best do it at a bit of a run if you're nervous. Good luck.
I'm gonna suck you off in a few years. You know, Harry just stands there after he's gone through, but can you imagine what would have happened if Ron just came through immediately after and crashed into his ass? So on the train, Ron sits with Harry and of course is amazed to meet him.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
No thanks. I'm all set. We'll take the lot.
You greedy, inconsiderate prick! What about everyone else on the train, you selfish twat?
This is Scabbers, by the way. Pathetic, isn't he?
And that turns out to be a grown man, so... A grown man is on an 11-year-old boy's crotch, I'm just saying. Then Hermione shows up, played by Emma Watson, but my god, she is so annoying!
Sunshine, daisies, buttermellow. Turn this stupid fat rat yellow.
Are you sure that's a real spell? Well, it's not very good, is it?
Shut up, you snooty cow! In fact, now that I think about it, I've made fun of Daniel Radcliffe's acting and Emma Watson is pretty bad too, but Rupert Grint is actually really good in this. He's easily the funniest one, but his acting is actually awesome. He's the only one whose emotions seem genuine.
I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
Ron Weasley.
Pleasure.
Yes, I'll be giving you some soon.
You've got dirt on your nose, by the way. Did you know? Just there.
And you'll have my jizz on yours. So they sail off to the castle, and I must admit, after reading the book, the film really does bring the magic to life perfectly. Honestly, everything is exactly how I imagined it when I read it, with the exception of Professor Snape. Rickman does an amazing job, but I just envision him to be a lot more intimidating, and sometimes Snape looks quite camp. But there's so much magical atmosphere here. John Williams' musical score really sells it, and it just looks fantastic.
I wonder.
So they meet Professor McGonagall, played by Maggie Smith, who goes over some rules.
You must be sorted into your houses. They are Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin.
I love how Malfoy is just so smug, just hearing the name Slytherin. Yeah, we're arseholes. So McGonagall leaves them all alone for some reason, as Malfoy insults Ron and his family, extends his hand to Harry, but gets fully owned.
You don't want to go making friends with the wrong sort. I can help you there. I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
It's not real, the ceiling. It's just bewitched to look like the night sky. I read about it in Hogwarts, a history.
She clearly just forgot her line right there. Like, that was one of the worst blunders I have ever seen, and they kept it in. Why? Why not just do another take?
With me so far?
So it turns out the nearby woods and a specific corridor in the school are out of bounds, so I wonder how long before they go to either of them. Before we go to the sorting ceremony, Hermione gets put into Gryffindor, and look, Dumbledore's a bit of a dick with his patronising ass clap. What, he can't even clap properly if it's not Harry? Malfoy, of course, gets put into Slytherin. Snape spots Harry, and apparently moments like this are supposed to foreshadow the twist in the last film. It's been heavily disputed whether or not J.K. Rowling actually informed Rickman of the twist in advance so he could use it for his performance. Some have said she did, others have said she merely told him that his character had a higher purpose, but she didn't give any specifics, so make of it what you will. Regardless, his scar starts to hurt before Ron is put into Gryffindor with his brothers. Harry is next, but has to resist being put into Slytherin and gets Gryffindor instead. So what's the point of the sorting ceremony when you can pretty much control your own destiny and choose which house to go in anyway?
Mental, that one, I'm telling you.
So they feast away, despite them clearly not being able to eat all of this, so it's just a huge waste. We find out that Snape is the leader of Slytherin and is trying to get Professor Quirrell's job, before we meet nearly headless Nick, played by John Cleese. And Rick Mayall was supposed to play the ghost of Peeves, but unfortunately his scene was cut out, and I actually can't find the deleted scene anywhere, so if anyone knows where the footage is, please send it my way.
You don't know?
And I can't help but compliment the sets this much. The moving staircases and everything, it looks so good.
Quickly now, come on. Come on.
Yes, that picture's moving.
Yeah. Why does that surprise you? Most of you come from magic families. You're in a magic school. You know they move. So they're shown to their dorms, but weirdly, Harry just stares out of his window and then we cut to the next morning. I think it's supposed to symbolise him feeling lonely, but I mean, he's with friends now and away from his abusive family. Bit weird. But oh well, we cut to the next day where Harry and the Ginger One are late for class.
Can you imagine the look on McGonagall's face if we were late? That was bloody brilliant.
I love Ron. Elsewhere, Snape stares at Malfoy like some kind of paedophile. Seriously, this is actually quite disturbing. Before he mocks Harry for not knowing certain things because, well, his dad was a dick, so he deserves the abuse too, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know, sir.
Pity. Clearly, fame isn't everything.
God, Rickman was so cool.
I, a rabbit, harping home. Turn this water into rum. I, a rabbit, harping home.
What's Seamus trying to do to that glass of water?
Turn it to rum.
He literally just said what he's trying to do several times. Oh well, the owls show up with the mail and the kids discover that the vault from earlier was broken into and robbed, before we see the bird from my family giving flying lessons. She orders them to take off with their brooms, loads of them fail, including Ron who takes one to the face while Harry laughs at him, which is actually quite charming, and it's just generally fun to watch these kids have fun with their mates. By the way, why can't Hermione do it? I mean, she's a genius, she's the best witch there, but she can't get a broom to take off?
What an idiot.
Then Neville accidentally takes off and gets in trouble. For some reason. I mean, he is literally the only one who did what he was told. And he's in trouble. It's stupid. The effects are really good, though. Until he falls. How the hell does this school never get sued? I mean, like every other day, these students are in a life-threatening situation. So the teacher takes Neville to be checked out while Harry sticks up for him and has a broom chase with Malfoy.
Give it here, Malfoy, or I'll knock you off your broom!
Bizarre threat. But Harry saves Neville's whatchamacallit and is a hero before McGonagall looks like she's going to get him in trouble, but actually volunteers him to Oliver Wood to be the new Quidditch Seeker. Quidditch is kind of like cricket, but it's in the sky and gay. The Weasley twins do try to make Harry nervous, but it is rather amusing.
Our job is to make sure that you don't get blooded up too bad. Can't make any promises, of course. Rough game, Quidditch.
Brutal, but no one's died in years. Someone will vanish occasionally.
But they'll turn up in a month or two.
These characters are just so likeable and charming. They're so real and a lot of fun to watch. It also turns out that Harry's dad was a Seeker and he's the youngest one in the century.
It's spooky. She knows more about you than you do.
Who doesn't?
What's happening?
You know the stairs move! Why are you confused and questioning this? Oh, and it moves to send our heroes to the restricted area. What the hell are the odds? They have to hide from the caretaker Filch, but do come across a terrible CGI three-headed dog. But despite being on the verge of becoming dinner, Hermione somehow still manages to notice a trap door underneath it and realise that it's guarding something.
If you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Or worse, expelled.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
Okay, she's annoying, but that was actually quite funny. Meanwhile, Oliver teaches Harry the rules of gay sky cricket.
Not bad, Potter. You'd make a fair beater.
Like Chris Brown.
I like this ball.
Ah, you like it now. Just wait. It's wicked, fast, and damn near impossible to see.
What do I do with it?
You catch it. Before the other team's Seeker. You catch this, the game's over. You catch this, Potter, and we win.
Not really. It gives you 50 points if you catch it. I mean, if the other team has more points, and then you get 50 and they still have more, you don't win. Okay, now back in class. A lot of the time it does just feel like they're killing time. Some of these scenes don't actually connect to the plot or build characters. It's just constant reminders that Hermione is smart and the other two are fuck-ups.
Look, stop. You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
It was Malfoy who said that, not Ron.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Just proofread your script. So Ron insults Hermione behind her back, but she overhears and runs off in floods of tears. I also like to point out this scene for anyone who says that Ron and Hermione's relationship wasn't there from the beginning. I mean, Ron constantly calls us crazy during this entire film because that's what you do before you hit puberty. You find girls annoying and all that. You know, just throwing that out. That's kind of how it starts. So there are hints here, so you shut the hell up.
Sheer dumb luck.
So they celebrate Halloween with a feast, but Hermione misses it as she's crying in the toilets. Professor Quirrell rushes in to warn everyone that there's a troll in the dungeon, leading to Snape mysteriously vanishing out quietly on his own. The boys head off to find Hermione, but the troll beats them there and wrecks the place. But what a shock, Harry takes it on with Ron helping a little.
Cool.
They do get stopped and questioned by teachers, but Hermione lies and claims she wanted to find the troll herself. Why lie? Why not just say, I went to the toilet, I didn't hear about the troll, then it attacked. There's no reason for her to lie, it makes no sense, it's never explained, and it was only going to get you in more trouble.
I don't really remember.
We also see Snape has some scars on his leg that he quickly covers up, but who cares? He's the obvious arsehole, remember? And despite all this, they still get Gryffindor points for defeating the troll. The next day, Snape gives an insincere good luck for the Quidditch match, and Harry notices his limp, believing that he let the troll in and the dog is guarding whatever was stolen from the vault. He then gets a new broom before Quidditch begins. You know, I won't lie, I may mock J.K. Rowling, but she has a really creative mind to come up with all of this, and it looks awesome. And despite the teacher demanding a clean game, Oliver quickly gets injured. There's another lawsuit. Even McGonagall looks horrified. How is this even allowed? But Harry's broom starts to take on a life of its own, and it looks like Snape is responsible. You know, I do love how they actually hide this twist really well. All you have to do is notice Quirrell's eye contact just behind him, but at first you'd never realise. It is quite clever. But Hermione sets light to Snape's cloak, which easily could have killed him and everyone around him, but whatever. Anything in the name of Quidditch. Before Harry literally stands on his broom to win the game, and this moment is truly awesome.
Yeah!
Anyway, it turns out that Hagrid owns the three-headed dog. It's called Fluffy, and he even defends Snape, saying that he's one of the teachers protecting the Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone. which is never explained. It's never elaborated on how Snape is protecting it. It's never touched upon again. It is in the book, but it's not in the movie. This movie has a flaw.
How could I be so stupid?
He tries to warn the kids to leave this alone, but accidentally reveals the name of Nicholas Flamel.
Nicholas Flamel?
I shouldn't have said that.
So Christmas rolls around. Ha ha ha, see, it counts. Ron is a pro at wizard's chess because foreshadowing. They open their presents. He has the world's ugliest jumper while Harry has an invisibility cloak.
I'm invisible.
I like Rupert Grint's career.
Okay.
He uses the cloak to sneak into the restricted area of the library, but surely using a lantern like this completely defeats the purpose of the damn cloak. Filch soon shows up, but Harry manages to give him the slip and gains a few feet in height to see Snape and Quirrell at eye level to hear them arguing about something.
Professors, I found this in the restricted section. It's still hot. That means there's a student out of bed.
Or it was a teacher. And instead of rushing back to his dorm, Harry instead decides to hang around and find this magic mirror where he sees his parents inside before rushing to get Ron. FYI, neither of these are actually found out of bed. Now bear in mind, Snape and Quirrell know there's a kid out of bed, so they rush off to find them. Neither of these are actually caught for the rest of the movie.
We had it wrong.
So Ron checks out the mirror but sees something different. Dumbledore soon shows up and explains that it shows you your deepest desires. The kids also discover that Nicholas Flamel made the Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone, but Hagrid assures them that Snape is the one protecting it. It also turns out he won a dragon egg, but Malfoy spies on them to report it, so it's taken away. However, his plan backfires as he was also out of bed, and they all get punished and sent to the forest that they're all banned from going in because it's too dangerous.
We can't go in there. Students aren't allowed. And there are werewolves.
Oh, there's more than werewolves in those trees, lad.
There's YouTube commenters. And Hagrid even leaves Harry and Malfoy alone together!
Harry, you'll go with Malfoy.
Okay, then I get Fang.
Fine. Just so you know, he's a bloody coward.
Okay, that was funny. They do come across a dead unicorn with Voldemort feeding on its blood as his scar starts to hurt before a Mantor makes the save.
The forest is not safe at this time, especially for you.
But what was that thing you saved me from?
An acting class? They continue to blame Snape, assuming he's going to take the stone and present it to Voldemort. But why do they even think this? I mean, I know kids are dumb and jump to conclusions, but what exactly has Snape done? What, he glared at you and spoke with his awesome voice in a condescending tone? Does that scream murder to you?
Dumbledore. As long as Dumbledore's around, Harry, you're safe. As long as Dumbledore's around, you can't be touched.
Though Dumbledore wishes he could be.
Hagrid, who gave you the dragon egg? What did he look like?
I don't know. I never saw his face. He kept his hood up.
So he bought an egg from a random mysterious guy in a hood whose face he couldn't see. Oh well, it turns out Dumbledore has left for the time being. They confront McGonagall about the stone, but she assures them that it's safe.
Now, what would 3 young Gryffindors such as yourselves be doing inside on a day like this?
We were just...
You want to be careful. People will think you're up to something.
My god, he was so cool. Neville tries to stop them from doing anything crazy, but gets stoned instead, in a spell they never use again for the entire franchise, by the way. And they sneak in and find Fluffy already magically put to sleep. However, it doesn't last long, but they do manage to avoid being dog chow. They find themselves like Instagram, overtaken by vines, but Hermione knows everything and gets out of it.
He's not relaxing, is he?
Apparently not.
We've got to do something.
What?
I remember reading something in herbology.
Oh, was it Hogwarts? A history?
A history.
And then in the next stage, Harry has to catch the right kid. You know, it's so convenient that all of these challenges fit our hero's strength so perfectly. What are the chances? Because the next one is wizard's chess. This is actually my favourite scene of the entire movie, though. It's brutal and savage as hell. It's so dark, and Rupert Grint's acting continues to impress. He is amazing in this. He eventually has to sacrifice himself, but can't he just get off the horse? I mean, he doesn't have to literally be on it, does he? I mean, they're just standing there, just crouched down behind it or something. Oh, well, it's a cool moment anyway. So Harry wins and goes off to find Quirrell in front of the mirror for the plot twist. It turns out that Snape was actually trying to protect Harry when his broom was spazzing out, and all of this exposition gives Harry quite the headache. He looks into the mirror and sees that he has the stone, which somehow makes it happen for real. We'll get to that. Before Voldemort himself wants to talk to him directly, and it does look pretty awesome. This is so creepy. He also somehow knows the stone is in his pocket, but whatever. He offers to resurrect his parents in exchange for the stone, which Harry considers, but he somehow realizes that he's lying. And then it gets really dark as he starts to choke Harry. Jesus! But then he somehow burns him to kill him, and then Ghostamort, or whatever, knocks him into another exposition scene.
Tokens from your admirers?
Admirers?
What happened down in the dungeons between you and Professor Quirrell is a complete secret. So, naturally, the whole school knows.
But how? Nobody else was there but Harry, Quirrell, and Voldemort. In fact, how did Harry, Ron, and Hermione even get back? It was all blocked up and guarded by a three-headed dog. How are we back here? And I hate the writing here too. Wait till you get a load of this.
How is it I got the stone, sir? 1 minute I was staring in the mirror, and the next...
You see, only a person who wanted to find the stone, find it, but not use it, would be able to get it.
That is genuinely some of the laziest last-minute writing I've ever heard.
Harry, do you know why Professor Quirrell couldn't bear to have you touch him? It was because of your mother. She sacrificed herself for you. And that kind of act leaves a mark. No. This kind of mark cannot be seen. It lives in your very skin.
What is it?
And it just keeps getting better. You want the stone, but not to use it? It's yours, burning through the power of love. Yeah, whatever.
That's just lazy writing.
Oh well, Dumbledore hands out house points and Gryffindor ends up tying with Slytherin, but Neville's actions give them 10 extra points to win because Dumbledore would lick Harry's arse if he could. And of course, every film needs to end with applause. But no, it does continue with Hagrid giving Harry a picture book of another kid clearly older than the one they dropped off. And I love how it's treated so happily as he leaves. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my abusive family, woo! And that was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone. Does it hold up? For the most part. Most of the cuts from the book make sense, but others just serve as plot holes and don't quite add up. The acting from Daniel and Emma is poor, but the rest is fantastic, especially Grint. The effects are cheesy or just awful at some parts, but amazing at others. The music is impeccable, the sets look amazing, and it's just a charming and wonderful film to enjoy. This has been Cinematic Venom, and join me tomorrow as we travel way back to the past. Over 2,000 years, in fact. Halfway there, halfway there.